is Doris, and I am Little Bird Products. Thank you for joining me today. What I am going to go over with you today is my way of doing a tutorial, and this is for denim shirt jacket upcycle that I do, where I add lace, I add panels under the arm, I open it all the way down the sleeve and down the side, and then I put a panel of lace, a wide strip of lace, and then what I usually do is angle it out kind of in a V shape so that it's more A-line along up the sides, and then I do the same thing for the sleeve so that it becomes a little more like a trumpet sleeve at the edge. Sometimes I gather that sleeve in and put elastic on it and put a little lace on the edge. Sometimes I put a cuff on it just to make a jacket a little wider. I like jackets that are a little more comfortable. And then what I also do is I open the back of the jacket up, usually about this wide at the top, and then it goes to an A-line, and I do that with a lace insert so that it has lace up under the arm, down the sleeve, and also in an A-line in the back. It can take, the denim jackets that I have picked out, one's a lighter weight shirt, it's a Lee Riders, it's an extra large. Then I have another one, this one's really cute, it has pearl snaps, and it is a size 10, and I can make this probably into an extra large, maybe a 2X. I like to have everything fit me, and I'm about a 2X. And then I also have another one, so I have 3 of them picked out. This one is a shirt. It's just a little, well, not really heavy like a denim. It is denim, but it's a lightweight denim. And this one is a size medium to start with. So I have a variety of sizes. They all are going to, I'm hoping that I can still keep the basic shape of them and have them all end up being an extra large up to a 2X. I did do one before, and I'll put a picture of it here, that I've already sold. I sold it on Etsy. It sold pretty quick, and it turned out really cute. And I usually shorten them too, and then I use what I've cut off from the bottom of the shirt. I try to do it in an A-line, so it makes it more of like a peplum style, a little shorter jacket. I'm not quite sure exactly what I'm going to do with these like that, but I like to use what I cut off to make pockets if I can. So I try not to waste any material, and we'll see how that turns out. So thank you for watching. Alrighty then, this is how we're going to cut out the pieces for this jacket, and I've decided to do something a little different. I'm not going to use this lace for this one. I think I'm going to use, either this lace or maybe, let's see, some of this lace. I kind of like the blue, the bluish with that. It brings out the blue in this. I have several different pieces of this embroidered lace. I'm going to look at this and decide which one I like. Maybe I like the black background one better. So I'm going to look through my embroidered lace pieces and decide which one I think the color goes better with. But the steps are the same no matter which one I use. The other one I showed you after I had finished it. This one, what I'll be doing is I will be cutting up the side arms. Make sure it's in the camera. And I try to leave one of the seams intact. So I take And under the arm, I go up right close to that seam, because I'm going to leave the seam in there. Then I'll just serge this back piece, because if I leave that seam intact and I don't cut through that, I don't have to serge that side of it. It makes it less work to make it. And that seems pretty good. That's a part of the jacket. I love the way these turn out. They are so cute. I finished the one last night that I already had the sleeves cut for. This, I am gonna cut right through the cuffs like that, because I kind of like leaving the cuffs on if I can. I just think it just looks, I don't know, I think it looks cuter. And so there's one side that's done. Oh, you know what? I think I will do something else before I cut the other side, because I found with the other one, after I had cut up that side, that it wasn't ideal for me to cut it off, because I like to have it high-low in the hem. And if I don't do that, if I do that after I've cut up the sleeve, it's just not quite as easy for me to see where everything is. See, just like this, where I'm having to put it together after the fact. So I'll line this up. What I try to do is in the front, I try to come down from the neck about 15 inches, and then I'm going to cut the front first, and then I'll put the back together and cut it. So I try to line this up right there. So this is the front. Make sure that's even and feels smooth. And put the neckline together. And then I come down 15 inches in the front. And that puts me right here. And I'll do that right in between the buttons so that I can have that there. So I can keep the button. And what I'll do is in the front, I like to have it, if I can, I like to follow the natural line of how this is. See how it comes back down and back up. And I like that. Sometimes I just square it off in the front. And that looks kind of cute too, because the back will be longer. I like to have it start out in the same place, but go down like that. So I think for this, what we will do, make sure I've got that pocket set there. Sometimes I just do it straight across. Sometimes I do it with my eyeball. Sometimes I take a pen like this. This is one of those dry erase pens. And I take it and draw on it to make sure it's right, just to make sure that everything is going the way I want it to go. And I can kind of eyeball the way it is. It isn't a perfect science. So I know that I want to have it down 15 inches from the front here. I know that that's where I want it. So let's see, on this one, shall we go like that? I think I'll do a little curve. I kind of like the way that looks. So you probably won't be able to see this on camera. Maybe you can. Just like that a little bit. And I'm going to cut that. I think I'll use my scissors for that. My sewing scissors. And then I like that. Like that. This is where I cut that seam off. I'm going to cut through this right here. Know right where it is. And I'm going to notch it there, because remember I already cut that back out of that side. Now, this is the back. I want to make sure that this is even out. And I don't mess up, because there's the sleeve, and I don't want to mess the sleeve up. So take it in half like that. Okay, so that it's lined up really nicely here, which it will be because I've got it under there. And really, since I'm only using the bottom of it and that's lined up, it doesn't matter. Now, what I try to do with the back, the back is slightly longer than the front, and I can keep on going and follow that line of what's there. And like I said, it doesn't have to be a perfect science. And I'm gonna do it like this. And then I'll round it off when I'm done. And then I save these pieces because I use these for pockets when I'm doing other things. So I try not to waste anything. So there we have that. And I'm gonna make sure that the back of this looks nice. Yeah, see, that's a nice curve. But now, what I'm gonna be doing is I'll be taking, whoops, nice little camera jugger there. And I'll be doing the same thing that I did on the other side, where I come up really close to the seam and I'm cutting all the way up through half the sleeve, because this lets me widen that whole sleeve out and makes it really, really cute. And I think that's gonna look so pretty with the embroidered lace. So next step I'll have to do is I'm gonna take this to the serger and serge up the sides and serge the hem so that piece of the work is done. And you'll see it really doesn't take a lot to do these. It's more thinking about it and putting the colors together. And I like leaving the collar if I can. Now the only other thing, this is a size medium and it'll end up being probably a large and extra large. Now the other thing that I need to do with this is fold it in half, because I am going to be splitting it right up the back, because that's where I'm adding that back lace piece. And I will not cut through the collar. I will go up to the collar, but not through it. And I want to make sure that this is even like that, so that I have it right in the middle. And like I said, it isn't an exact science. I do like it when it's right in the middle. I think it's important to try and keep things, you know, in alignment if you can. And I can feel that underarm there to make sure that it's the same place. And there again. And then this is easy to cut because you just come in here like this and you come right up. Easy, famous last words, right? Before you make a mistake. Now, what I like to do up here at the top, see there, that is, all the way up there. I like to make it like this, a little bit, just a V notch, because then when I do the lace, I'll extend the lace up underneath that, and then I'll do it like that so that the sides can be all serged and it'll be nice and handy. So I am going to take to the serger, finish that off, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like serged, and then I will lay my lace that I've chosen underneath it, and we'll decide how to do the rest of it from there. Okay, so I took this to the serger and I serged up the back and up the side and around the front. So I think it's going to look pretty good. So it's all, and then I left the seam intact, so I didn't serge it. It'll have a tiny bit of fraying, that'll just add a little character to it. So it's all serged and it's ready to go. Now I'm going to pick out my lace and then I'll cut the lace. Now what I'll do is I usually look at, for the sleeve, for the piece of lace, okay, because that piece of lace will be sewn up the side. Now, whatever length I want the lace to be, it needs to be this long. That's about 27 inches because it has to come up the, this is the back side of the sleeve. So it'll fill that in, right? So I have to think about this for a minute. So it'll be that length, 2 pieces, and the width, the way I do the width is it needs to be the, I'm gonna put this on the mannequin because I think, so it's gonna be, this is the front of the jacket, front, right? And then this is the back, and it starts curving around. So it needs to go up, over, down, around. This is the underarm across here, so that's the length. And then we said that was about 28 inches. And the width of the piece was 12 inches. So we'll have 2 rectangles, and they'll be 12 inches wide and 28 inches long. So I need 2 of those pieces. And then what I'll do is I have to measure the back, up the back seam, and I can make that, the width of that, be okay. I want the finished back seam to be 28 inches, but what I want to do is leave 2 inches at the top extra, so it'll be 30 inches. And the 2 inches at the top is so that after I've sewed it down both sides and I turn it around and tuck it in, I have that 2 inches to tuck back up, you know, in here, so that it finishes it really nice. So, and because I want the ruffle at the bottom to be the same material as the lace, whatever the lace is, this will be the bottom of that ruffle. I will create a ruffle that goes all the way around on the back seam and on the front side, and that'll be different. That'll be other pieces, the same lace, but other pieces. So this needs to be 30 inches long, and the width of it, okay, back center, this would be 30 inches long, and the width of that, it's going to be a triangle shape, okay? So it'll be like this. It'll be here because it'll be narrower up here, right? And then it'll gradually get the width at the bottom. And so what I did on my other one, which turned out really well, this, I try to, at the top here, I like to have it be about 2 inches wide at the very top. And then when I get to the center back here, I like to have it be about 3 inches. So it'll start out with 2 inches wide, and then it'll go to 3 inches wide, and that's down about, remember I have to have the 2 at the top, and that's down 7 inches. I know that's a lot of math, but all you have to do is you can lay it under there and make sure that it's going to work. And then when I get down here at the bottom, it'll probably be about 12 inches wide, maybe not quite that wide. I'm going to hang it on my mannequin here. Maybe it'll be maybe 10 inches, because that gives me the width over the hip. And here is the already serged, cut, pinned up Well, the sleeves are and the sides are sewn. I think it looks pretty cute. And there's the back. Doesn't that center back look nice? And I made the back ruffles. They're even, so everything's about 28, 30 inches. Isn't that nice? And this side, ruffles are done. See, I like the way that sleeve makes that little dip down. And there's the front side. Tomorrow, I'll finish stitching it and then take the final pictures.